Alright guys, we are at the farm. We're gonna get this thing stuck and we're gonna play recovery today. This ought to be fun. Stand by. What's up guys, we're here at the DAV Towing World Headquarters in beautiful downtown sunny Middle Grove, New York. Today we're taking a look at this wrecker. We're going to go out and get something stuck, show you guys how to yank her out of the mud the right way. Hey, you know what? It's a good day for it. Let's take a look at this 1994 Dodge 3500 factory wrecker. Where'd you get this thing from?
I got it out of Maryland.
So they drove down to Maryland to pick this thing up because, as you can tell, she's pretty cherry. Not a whole lot of rot on her. This truck has the legendary 12-valve Cummins backed by the NV 4500 transmission. It's two-wheel drive, which it does pretty good. This thing's, even though it's two-wheel drive, does pretty well. Darian, tell us a little bit about the body on this. What kind of winch you got going? How strong is it?
Now we got two Ramsey 8,000-pound winches on here. Hydraulic winches. The body is a Jordan HPL 35.
So you got 8,000-pound winches, two of them. You can run those simultaneously, correct?
Yep.
So, do a little math. That gives you 16,000 pounds of pulling power on a single line. We're going to show you something neat today where you can effectively double your pulling power by using one simple tool.
Those little guys back there?
Those little guys back there. We'll show you how to use those.
On those things?
We're going to go and we're going to go get my truck stuck somehow. But we'll show you how to set this thing up, the right way to use it, and it's going to be a good day.
You getting your truck stuck?
Oh yeah, I'm going to get my truck buried.
Cool.
I'm just going to go out and power brake it until we're sitting on the axle or something. It's
We're going to pull it out?
Yeah, it's fine. It's good. It's nice.
Let's check out under the hood of this thing?
Yeah, let's check out under the hood under here. You know what's hilarious? Bought this camera. He's the first one to use it. So under the hood we have the legendary 12-valve Cummins turbo diesel. They're not rated for a whole ton of power. What's this rated at? 190?
160.
160. So that's pretty low.
175.
175. 175. He would know. He's our guru here on 12 valves. Not a whole lot of horsepower. Makes good torque. But here's the nice thing about these: super reliable. This whole thing is run by one wire. You could run this engine with no electronics whatsoever. So you're going to go out and run this thing hard, and it's always going to work. It's reliable. And that's why he looks for trucks like these when he goes to put them into his fleet. He looks for older stuff, a little bit more reliable, easier to work on. And again, he's pretty familiar with these. He's had these as long as I can remember. So we're going to go ahead and give this thing a cold start because why not?
Hop in and fire this thing up or what?
Fire it up, Darian.
Yeah, let's fire this up.
That was less dramatic than I hoped for.
We can always go in the garage and fire up the other 12 valve.
Yeah, we probably should do that. No, the valve covers it off.
Oh, yeah.
Now come around back here. Now, start. It was pretty easy.
Yeah.
It's less dramatic than I hoped for. So plenty of you guys have seen tow trucks. Heck, maybe even been towed by one. If you own a 6-liter Ford, you've definitely been towed by one. So is a record. It's a little bit unconventional compared to what you see every day now, but back in the day, these were the go-to setup. And the way this works is you would support one end of the vehicle with this here. The tires will fit in, lift it up, chain it down, move it around. We'll go over it later. And then you tow the vehicle on the other axle. Worked pretty good. Then they started coming out with all-wheel drive cars. Came into all kinds of problems. That's when they invented the dollies. The dollies go under that back axle, so you can effectively tow something with all 4 tires off the ground without putting it on a flatbed. We'll go over a flatbed too, we'll show you that kind of stuff as well. All right, so now we're gonna look at this other type of tow truck. This is a flatbed rollback. This thing is a Ford F650, it's a 2003. It's got a 24 valve Cummins under the hood, another reliable unit, backed by an Allison automatic. They got this thing out of New Jersey. It was originally white, they had to paint it. But they look for these trucks specifically because it matches the rest of their fleet, for one. 2, it's a very reliable combination, the F650. And yeah, Colin brings up a good point. There's no emissions on this.
Yeah.
No DEF, no DPF, no CAT, no EGR. They might have an EGR, do they?
This doesn't.
This doesn't.
That has an EGR. Yes.
Yeah. So certain years don't have an EGR, but it makes a big difference when you're looking for reliability to go out there and work these things every day. They've found a lot of these emissions trucks have problems and have a lot of downtime. Downtime costs you money. Let's take a look at the rest of this truck. As you can see, this is the extended cab version, so you can take all your homies with you. The body's a Jordan rollback. It's got some good toolboxes. They can put a lot of their tie-down straps, other tools like that. This doesn't just go out and do tows. You're gonna have people call you and go, hey, I'm out of gas. Hey, I got a flat tire. And this truck will respond to all of them. So they carry all the tools they need with them in those toolboxes. If you come around the back here, the controls to run the bed, the winch, and like the Wrecker, this also has a wheel lift on the back. You can tow not one, but yes, 2 cars at once with this truck. Same situation. The wheels would go on here. There's a bar that locks around the back. You chain it down and you drag the other car on the existing axle that's on the ground. Works pretty good. When these guys go down to like Albany or got to go somewhere far, they got to take multiple cars to different dealerships. It's a lot cheaper than running 2 trucks with 2 drivers down the highway. Let's start this thing up because this one's going to sound good.
Let's pop the hood first.
Valve? Let's pop the hood. Let's take a look at this 24 valve. Or should I say, roll the hood.
You see the differences in the 12 and the 24 valve.
Oh yeah.
Give that side a lift. Listen. Oh, you can see it was white at one point.
So, this truck has the 24 valve Cummins turbo diesel. Yes, the same one that you found in a pickup.
This one, right here.
Like that truck right behind us that Colin's leaning on.
Oh, hold on. I'll get a shot of it.
Right here.
Get a shot of it. That is.
Look at this beauty.
Let's talk for a minute. How crispy clean this thing is. Where'd you get this? South Carolina?
This truck came from South Carolina. Spent its whole life there.
Another beautiful rig here at the.
I mean, would you just look at these rockers?
Would you look at it? Just look at it.
Crispy. All right, back to you, Mr. Beach.
Back to me. So, again, 24 valve Cummins turbo diesel, super easy to get parts for, super reliable, and these guys know these things. They've been working with them for years. Let's fire this thing up because it's kind of cold out today, and this thing probably put on a good show for us.
Oh, we got a couple pizza boxes in here.
Oh, we got any pizza left?
Yeah, there is. You want some?
You hungry? Cold pizza for breakfast?
this thing up and show you how you work this bed. So the first thing you need to do is you need to roll your bed back. This thing is locked all the way to the front to secure that bed while you're driving down the road. So before you tilt it up, you need to slide it back and unlock it. First you slide it back. You'll note there's a sticker right here. You need to line that up with the levers before you can tilt it. Once you get to that point, go to the next lever, tilt it up until your feet touch the pavement or the ground. Then you can continue to roll the bed back until it touches the ground. I'm going to smash the roof guard. That's my roof guard. Oh! So I didn't go all the way down because I don't want to smash his rhubarb. My man's a big fan of rhubarb pies and I wouldn't want to ruin his day. Up at the head of this truck, this bed, has another 8,000-pound hydraulically driven winch, driven off the PTO of the truck, and it's hydraulic just like on our bulldozer. We put that in the free spool, which free spool allows you to pull the cable out without having to move the lever. It's kind of like neutral. So what we would do is pull that winch out, hook it up to our dead vehicle so we can roll it onto the bed. So you'll take a look at this truck and you go, boy, how is a 2003 so rust-free? Well, I'll tell you how. They use a little product around here called fluid film. Now, fluid film is also a penetrant, kind of like WD-40 or PB Blaster, but it works really well at protecting metal surfaces. So they spray down all their trucks every year. They go, they pull these things apart, and they scrape all the rust and scale off, and then they fog them down with fluid film. And that fluid film keeps the water off the metal. And if you know anything about rust, water and bare metal, not a good combination. It's going to give you rust.
Fluid film makes a hydrophobic.
Oh, hydrophobic. That's a good science term. Creates a hydrophobic barrier on the frame, keeping the water away. It also keeps oxygen off the metal, which oxygen causes oxidation. And guess what, folks? Rust is oxidation.
See a little bit of fluid film right here, all this goopy stuff stuck in it.
Yeah, it kind of makes a little bit of a mess, but it works well. Keeps this truck clean.
Product.
So this truck's under CDL, right?
This truck is under CDL. It's 26,000 GVW.
So you do not need a CDL to drive this truck. It's under 26,000. Hey, look who's here!
Hey!
Hey! Good morning, guys.
Any words of advice?
Turn traction control off before trying to get stuck. So I'm kind of stuck. I mean, kind of. I mean, I could probably put it in four-wheel drive and just drive out, but that's not fun. We're going to do this the hard way. We're going to pull it out anyway. All right, this is Colin. He's our expert. Colin, so you pull up to a scene like this, you moron buddy, got his pickup truck stuck out in the field. So what are you thinking? How are you gonna get this thing out?
Well, first you gotta assess the situation, see how stuck he is, and determine the resistance that you're gonna have on this situation.
We're gonna pretend that I'm really stuck, like more stuck than this.
Well, if you're really stuck, you're gonna wanna run a 2-part line.
So Colin, what does a 2-part line do for us?
Well, that's gonna double your pulling power when you're pulling a stock vehicle out with resistance.
So if my winch is 8,000 pounds, how many pounds of pulling force am I gonna get out of that winch?
So you're still gonna have...
You're gonna get 16,000. That's what we're looking for.
Multiplies it by 2.
Yeah, simple math.
Simple man.
I'm not good at math either, Colin. I had to look it up before, don't worry.
I'm a simple man.
So we're putting wheel chocks down because we're gonna yank on my stuck pickup here pretty hard, and we don't want to pull the tow truck to the stuck truck. So Colin's over there, he's hooking up a bridle, and the way that works is now we can pull on both frame sections with the same force, so we don't hurt the frame by pulling one side harder than the other. So they've engaged the winch into free spool. Free spool is like neutral. Putting it into free spool allows you to pull this cable out without having to run the lever. A lot of times when they show up on a scene like this to pull somebody out, it's just one of them. They're working alone all the time. So being able to just put the winch in neutral and pull that cable out is an advantage. You don't have to have somebody with you.
Want to get a video of the old mechanical high idle? I got a cable. Most like a ball. We can talk about that.
So here you can see we've got our snatch block. Basically, it's just a pulley. It's not really anything too crazy, but this is where all that force is going to be concentrated on. So you need to make sure that it's hooked up solid and you're hooked up to the vehicle solid. You don't need this thing coming apart under high tension.
Gaining your mechanical advantage.
Correct. That's a good science term, mechanical advantage. So folks, I'm going to tell you a little secret here. When you have something like this hooked up with this kind of tension, there's an area created called the triangle of death.
Dun-dun.
Lightning, lightning, lightning.
Dun-dun.
When this thing's under tension, if this were to let go, this cable has a tremendous amount of force and it can seriously hurt you or probably kill you. So when we're winching, everybody needs to be far away from this. You need to be either behind the truck or away far enough where if that cable snaps, it's not going to reach you. This cable's made of steel fibers. Always going to want to wear gloves. Look at Colin here.
Leather palm gloves.
Leather palm gloves. Because these little things will stab you and stick into you, and then you'll end up with like infections and hospital visits and shots and the gangrene. And we've talked about gangrene before. You don't want it. So let's go over to the wrecker here and we'll talk about how we're going to pull this thing out. So we're set up. Now we're going to begin pulling on this truck, but first you want to make sure of a couple things. One, that the vehicle you're pulling is at least in neutral. You don't need to make it harder than it already is. Take it out of park, take it out of gear, put it in neutral. Now if this thing was really stuck and this thing was really struggling to pull, you might have to have somebody in that vehicle and have it drive to help assist pull it through. We're not that stuck today, so you don't need to do that, but a lot of times it'll help out. So before we start pulling, this truck's at idle. The engine's running real slow. The hydraulic system's not making a whole lot of power. So we need to go ahead and kick that idle up. So if you come on over here, you'll see on this truck, this has a throttle lever right here at the back. So go ahead and bump that up.
There we go.
Now since this whole thing runs off of hydraulics, that extra engine RPM is going to increase not only the speed, but the power that these winches can put out. It's going to increase our flow. Now, what are we doing next? How are we doing this?
We're taking out a free spool. We ready to pull?
We're ready to pull.
Let's do it.
So now he's going to put his winch back in gear, take it out of free spool. And this is where everybody needs to get back. The cameraman's going to stay up here. He's got no fear.
You always go out before you go in to make sure it's locked in. There it is.
Go.
You in neutral?
It's in. Now you can see, take the slack off on the winch cable. Colin's guiding it to make sure that nothing gets crossed. There you go. So, you'll notice this thing's going kind of slow. That is the one disadvantage with a 2-part line. Although it doubles your pulling power, it cuts your speed in half. And that's kind of the way that it works. Doing the same amount of work over a longer period of time, you get more force. But you're still pulling the same load. I just realized something. There's no car wash. Now we're really testing the wind sound.
Well, I feel like we should talk about the importance of keeping the cable nice. You know, nice and straight the cable is, unlike Mr. Beach's Jeep winch, which is all gnarly and messed up. These cables aren't cheap. So if you keep them nice, they stay good for a long, long time. You have a good picture of your gnarly winch?
I can add a picture of mine. Mine's really bad.
Really bad?
Yeah, I do not take good care of mine. But these guys use these every day to make money. This is their livelihood. You got to take care of your stuff. It goes to show you this truck is, what, it's about 25 years old, right?
26.
Alright, the winch is almost all the way in. Now, before you go and unhook this thing, there's one very important thing that you want to do so your truck doesn't go sailing back out into the woods. We're going to come right over here. You're going to reach in the cab. I can't reach because I'm not tall enough. Reach in the cab, throw her in park. That way this thing doesn't go sailing back into the woods and we're back to square one. Now, he's going to relieve the tension off the line. I'm going to go ahead and reel it out a little bit, just enough where we can get everything safely unhooked. So that's kind of a simple way of pulling something out and using a 2-part line. Now, we did it with a pickup truck, but it doesn't matter if it's a truck, tractor, bulldozer, backhoe, car, heck, even a bicycle. The rules still apply. It's going to be the same method. So think about this. Maybe you get a job working somewhere and your boss goes and gets his pickup stuck in the job site. You know the safe way, the right way to hook this thing up and get him out of a jam.
Hopefully we can get back to school and we can do our own 2-part lines.
So let me tell you something else. When you're out here doing stuff, never say, I'm not gonna get stuck. Because guess what? You just jinxed yourself, you're gonna get stuck. So let's see what happens. Let's see if we can get out of here without getting stuck. All right, gang. Here's another situation. You get called by the police. Somebody in a gray pickup truck is illegally parallel parked. You got to get this guy out of there.
All right, gang, so we set this up. These guys, they have their line run back out. They've got a nice soft connection made to the vehicles, not to damage the vehicle. And the cable, the wire rope comes around and it goes back through our simple tool, our snatch block. So this time we're not using it so much to gain a mechanical advantage as much as we're trying to change the direction of pull. Because that guy, that clown that pulled in his gray Ford truck and parked it illegally, the police want him out of there and they want him held responsible. So we're going to be able to use this same tool. Instead of gaining a mechanical advantage, we're going to change the direction of our pull.
Now I just noticed something here. Number 1 rule in towing, or any kind of use of tools out in the field, never put them on the ground. Ryan, you want to turn around and zoom into that chain over there?
Who put that one there?
That was me. I thought we were using it for the next
so it's
operation.
the boss.
Yep, that was me.
The boss did
That's
it.
the quickest way to lose your equipment. Especially a small little chain like that in the grass, you'll walk away and never remember it's there.
So, Colin has his setup all ready to go. He's going to start pulling that cable in with the winch. You can see they're keeping it tight so they can keep that winch
Not
cable
looking like yours.
not looking like mine. It's going to stay nice and organized on the drum. Let's see what happens. Let's see if they can get this clown's truck out of here. So now we can see our cables coming down the bed of the tow truck from the winch to the snatch block to the truck. We're redirecting the pull through that pulley, through that snatch block.
Your triangle of death is very apparent right here.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good triangle of death going here, so we'll take a good couple of steps back. I can zoom in. Go ahead and make that pull. So what's going on here? Well,
here we have some resistance.
we're moving the tow truck, not the pickup truck. Typically, if you're on blacktop, you have a little bit better traction. You'll be able to actually pull this off. But we're in a grass field here. But you can see that has already started pulling that truck. And if you continued that along, that truck would end up out in the lane of travel, and they can winch it right up on this bed and get it out of here. In case you're wondering, I'm told that's ranch dressing.
Who knows what it really is?
Who do you believe?
What the middle one is.
So let's take a quick gander at this soft shackle we're using. You can see it's good for 6,000 pounds like a loop.
Yeah, you just leave that hanging.
That has worn off. I don't know what that is, but 12,000 pounds if you do it in a double, like so. It's a nice sling. The nice thing is with soft stuff is it doesn't damage whatever you're attaching it to. So if you got a nice car, a really super nice gray pickup truck, you're not going to scratch those tow hooks, you know? So now we're going to go over how to get a truck or car up on the bed and the proper way of tying it down. So you can see he just threw a whole bunch of chain under the truck. Let's go down and see where he's hooking it up.
All right, I don't know if you can see around my head. You can probably see Colin's side better than mine.
All right, so almost all vehicles ever produced have what they call transport slots, which are these little oval holes down here where you hook one of these cluster hooks in. You have a mini J here, you have a T hook,
Appropriately named,
and you have an R hook, which almost looks like an R, I guess, somehow. Kinda. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna use the mini J. And you're gonna hook it right here in this transport slot, like so.
Want to show them how the T goes in there also?
Yeah, sure, why not? So the T here, you're gonna slide one end of it in the hole, then secure the other end in, and what happens is when you put tension on this chain, it's gonna turn that T straight up and down, and it's gonna hold that hook in place so it doesn't pop out of the hole.
Use the T's? T's already in there. Let's go back to the mini J.
Let's throw the R hook in there too. So the R hooks are a little more complex. You don't really use those very often, but very secure. So you're gonna take the little end of that hook there, you're gonna slide it in the hole, then you have to rotate it, wrong way, then
I don't think an R is going to fit in there. An R is going to have to go in the one back here.
yeah, R is too small for this hole. So we're just gonna go with the mini J's. Keep it simple for you guys.
Do one on either side so that cable stays right in the middle there. It gives you an even pull. It pulls straight up as opposed to one side of the vehicle and the other, because if you pull on that side, it's going to make the vehicle want to go this way, or if you pull on this side, it's going to make the vehicle want to go that way. So if you pull smack dab in the middle, it pulls straight on and it's evenly applying force to both sides. Oh, look, a four-wheeler. So as you can see, when tension's applied to that, the hook part of the J is right in there, and the control arm, I guess you would call on this thing, is right in the throat of that J, and that's where you want to apply pressure. You don't want to apply pressure on the end of the tip of the J because it can break it off. It's not meant to work like that, much like a grab hook fits on a chain as opposed to hooked into the slot.
First thing you want to do before you start dragging this thing up, you get it all hooked up, you're going to want to put it in neutral. Now, sometimes people forget that you need keys to move cars, so they'll take their keys with them. This winch will drag this truck up on the bed with the rear tires locked. But it's not really the right way to do it. It's kind of a last ditch, you gotta get this thing out of here type of situation. But we're gonna put it in neutral and show you guys how to get this thing up on the bed. Go ahead and start winching this thing in. Sometimes when you're working alone doing this kind of thing, you'd have to stop winching, move the steering wheel, get yourself lined up and keep pulling. 2 people makes the job easier, but it's not necessary. Now you'll notice the truck's moving a lot faster this time. And again, going back to our 2-part line, our 2-part line doubles the pulling power, but halves the speed. Now that we're on a single part, a single line, it's going to be full speed, but only 1 times the capacity of the winch.
Yeah, straighten it out. Perfect.
There goes my hitch into the ground.
Tilling up the land.
Yeah, we're farming now.
Truck's on the bed now. You want to have the vehicle in park, but before you climb on the bed to put it in park, you want to put a safety strap on. Very important. You don't want to go step on the bed and open the door and have your cable or your wire rope break and have that truck go sailing and take you with it and run you over and possibly kill you.
Right, I got you. I don't care how strong you are, you're not that strong.
It's what they call 4-point tie down. You've got your securement there at one end, you've got your ratchet at this end, and your loop here goes up over the tire. Now we can climb up and put the vehicle in park.
All right, go ahead. We're gonna roll this truck up onto the rest of the tow truck here.
Get a close-up shot.
Zoom in on the sticker.
Here we have Mr. Beach's truck loaded up on the flatbed with 4-point straps. Now, per federal law from the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Association, they say you have to have 4 points of contact to the bed for securement. And the winch and chains do not count. It has to be wheel strapped at all times during transport.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. This video was made possible by these guys at DAB Towing. We couldn't do it without them. If you're in a jam, you need a tow, you get your truck stuck and you forget it has 4-wheel drive, call them up. They'll get you out. They'll take care of you. Let them know I sent you. But in the meantime, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And remember, wash your hands.